evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you are around the world. I am your host, Toy Parker, and welcome to a more intimate setting. Ignite your life with Toy Parker. No box, no limits. Breakthrough series. This is the one place where you can not only be yourself, be your true authentic self, but also get the breakthrough strategies to improve your life in love, general life, and in business. Only right here on the Ignite Your Life with Toy Parker Network. So thank you so much for joining us. We have a great lineup tonight. We have some surprise guests and some people who we knew were coming. And we have our resident mental health expert, Mia Zachary, who's here to share some really amazing, what I call blazing amazing information. But first, let me give you a little bit of history behind the No Box, No Limits. For those who are just joining us, I have a radio show, and on it I've been talking about how a lot of people say, think outside the box. I subscribe to the theory that there is no box. You should not use the box as a frame of reference at all, because that places limits on your frame of reference to even get started. So, no box. Secondly, a lot of people say, sky's the limit. I don't agree with that. I do not subscribe to that. In fact, I say there is no limits, because the universe is vast and the sky has no limits. So therefore, you have no limits. I have no limits. We have no limits. Therefore, no box, no limits. And that's what this broadcast is all about. We're going to talk about real strategies, real success stories even. And we're going to talk about a little bit later in the broadcast during our Heart of a Champion segment. We'll be talking to Joan Wilson, the corner woman herself. I'm really excited because we're going to have some real blazing amazing conversation. So let's go ahead and get started. We have with us Mia. About to bring her on. Mia, hello. How are you?
Great evening, my beautiful sister. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of yet another of your hashtag blazing amazing broadcasts. I am so proud of you and everything that you're doing, and I'm really honored that you've asked me to be a part of it with you. Thank you for that.
Oh, you are most welcome. You're most welcome. And the best part about it is you've had a chance to be on our radio broadcast, and I'm so happy to have you here on my television broadcast. And the one thing that I love, that we're having this particular series that's called Still Here.
Hashtag still here.
Yes, exactly. And so with that, hashtag Still Here, I want you to share with the audience that's new, because we actually had quite a few new registrants. And for those of you who are new, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. So for those who are new, please tell them about the hashtag Still Here.
I sure will. Well, first and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Mia Zachary. I am an award-winning author. I am a best-selling novelist. I'm a book coach, and I am also a multi-decade survivor of chronic major depression. Now, for those of you who are new and perhaps unfamiliar with this, everybody gets depressed sometimes, depressed with a little d. You lose your job and you feel depressed. Perhaps there's a death in the family and you go through a grieving period that leads to a depression. But for those of us who basically fight the big D monster, it's an ongoing. There's not always an easily recognizable trigger. There's not always something we can point to and go, that's why I feel this way. So when we were here with Toy last time, I gave a little bit of a definition about depression. And the difference is that this is a chemical imbalance in your brain that affects you emotionally and physically, but also to a great extent spiritually. And a lot of times, we get ignored. If I told you I had diabetes, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so horrible, you can't eat cake. But if I tell you I'm depressed, you're going to look at me and say, get over it. What's the matter with you? It's just the blues, it'll pass. Well, that's the difference. If I had to oversimplify, depression with a little d is the blues. Depression with a big D is the abysmal black, and I mean abysmal as in the abyss, as in there is no end in sight. But the reason I'm doing this segment is to let you know that I am hashtag still here and that I've gotten on the other side of my blacks and I'm back to blues, as in blue skies for which there are no limits. And so Toy has invited me to share some things with you, some insights, some action steps, so that hopefully you can join me on this journey to wellness. You know, one thing that depression does is it labels you. People label you, but more importantly, you label yourself. And what I want you to know is that you choose your labels. You can scratch those out and write something else. You know, so what I believe is that there is a big difference in the semantics. Semantics is a fancy way of saying how you say stuff. So you can say that depression has you, or you can say, like I do, I've got this depression. I've got this. Now, I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live their life. I'm simply sharing what I've been able to do with mine. I am not a doctor. I'm not pretending to be a doctor. I am not giving anyone medical advice. What I am saying is that I've been off of antidepressants for over 2.5 years, and I actually emptied my medicine cabinet, all my pills, about 3 months ago because I was holding on to them as a crutch just in case, but I honestly do not believe I'm ever going to need them again. And the reason I say that is the topic of tonight's conversation. It's about attitude. It is all about the attitude. So whereas before my depressions kind of started maybe about a foot off the floor and went all the way down into the sub-basement and the ground underneath that, my depressions now, you know, I'm probably about 4 feet off the floor, and when I do have a depressive episode, I'm still going down, but I'm not going down as far, and that's where I hope maybe I can inspire you to get to as well. You know, I'm not saying I'm not still depressed. I still have depressive episodes, and that's the difference. I've got this depression. I've got it. I recognize the episodes as soon as they come on now. I can change my attitude, my mindset, and my experience of it much faster, and they don't last as long as they used to. And I believe that that really has everything to do with my attitude. Now, I'm not going to give you everything tonight because we still got 10 more months that you guys are stuck with me. But I do want to tell you that when you are in a depressive episode, those of you who have experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. Depression only uses 3 crayons. It uses black, it uses navy, and it uses gray. And it colors your entire world. And because of that, it colors your outlook. It colors the way that you look at things. It colors the way that you receive. It colors the way that you speak. It colors the way you think. And it colors the way you dream. So the first thing that I suggest, I invite you to try, is when you're in the middle of this, and trust me, I have been down as far as you can go. I am very proud to say that I am a failure. I'm a suicide failure. So if there's anyone out there who says, oh, she's just talking, she's just, you know, giving platitudes, I have been there, I have done that, and I got, thank God, and I mean that for my little brother who saved my life. So when I tell you that there are little things you can do, number 1, of course, is ask for help. You know, see a doctor. But number 2 is find little ways that you can help yourself, because it is all about helping yourself. You are here for a reason. Your life has a purpose. I am asking you, inviting you, begging you to be #still here long enough to find out what that purpose is, long enough to find out what that reason is. And it starts with your attitude. In the middle of your darkest period, find some kind of light. I don't care if it's like a little flame on a big lighter as opposed to a big spotlight. Just find some little bit of light. And when depression is painting your world in grays and navies and blacks, find some color. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I am wearing bright, hot acid green today. Why? Because it's a reminder to me to try to find the bright side of whatever's happening with me.
Mhm.
I'm going to go ahead and embarrass myself. I'm going to put myself out here in a way that I don't normally do. But I will tell you that I have made some choices and gotten myself into a situation whereby I am staying with family right now. It is not the ideal situation to go from a two-bedroom, two-bath, balcony, et cetera, to one room and a storage unit. I'm not proud of this. I'm not saying this because I'm asking for your sympathy. I'm telling you, right here, right now, 8:21 on the 27th of February 2015, I am in the middle of a depressive episode, but I've got this. I've got this depression. I recognize the circumstances. I recognize my triggers. And I am doing everything that I can to change my attitude. And sometimes you have to do that on a moment by moment basis. And it's not easy. It means that you've got to be present. You've got to know yourself. You've got to know what you're going through. You've got to recognize it, because it is so easy for depression to take your thoughts and spiral them downward until you're on the verge of doing something potentially stupid, definitely harmful, and possibly permanent. So I'm asking you, be present, and when you notice that everything is black, reach for the light. Reach for some kind of light. So that's number one. Number two, I know. I'm saying this from my heart. I know. Because when I get into a depressive episode, all I want to do is curl up in a ball, hide in the corner with my back to the wall, not talk to anybody, not be around anybody. But isolation is the worst possible thing you can do. Try to be around other people. I'm not asking you to take your black abyss, kind of like Pigpen from the Peanuts cartoons. I'm not asking you to take your black cloud into a bunch of happy-go-lucky people, because I know that makes it worse sometimes. I'm asking you, find somebody who will hold your hand and sit with you and just be with you so that you're not alone. So that's number two. Don't isolate. Find somebody to be with. You don't even have to tell them what's going on with you. If you're embarrassed, you don't want to ask them for help, you don't want to tell them what's going on, you don't have to. Just find somebody to be with you so that you're safe. The third thing I want to tell you, and this is the most important, depression lies. Rewrite your story. Depression lies. It tells you that you are worthless. It tells you that you are useless. It tells you that you are nothing. Depression lies. You are somebody. You matter. You are here for a reason. We need you to stay. We need you to stay and figure out what your purpose is. Please, please do not give up hope. Hope, in my mind, is an acronym. It stands for Hold On, Pain Ends. I am a living testimony to tell you, pain ends. Please stay. I want you to be with me next month. I want you to be with me the month after that. I want you to tell me that you are hashtag still here. So please, hold on, pain ends. If you are looking for some kind of help, I'd like to offer it to you. If you text the words, I'm still here, I am STILLHERE, I'm still here, to the number 443-221-6571. I have a free ebook that will give you some information about depression to help you identify what's going on with you, to help you know that you are not alone. You are far from alone. I'm not going to get into my faith right now, but I do believe with all my heart there is something. There is an intelligent energy. There is a source energy greater than us that is with you always. You are never alone. Please have hope. Now, if you're watching this and you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. I'm so glad you have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you know somebody in your life, a loved one, a friend, a coworker, a perfect stranger, who might benefit from this information, then I need to tell you that the other thing that the acronym HOPE stands for is Help Other People Evolve. Help other people emerge. Help other people end their pain. So once again, even if it's not you, this depression booklet, I didn't write it. I'm not claiming to be a doctor. This was written by the United States National Institute of Health. All I'm doing is offering it to you as a resource. So if you need it for someone else, please text the word, it's still the same thing, I'm still here, to 443-221-6571. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that I have touched somebody out there. If you want somebody to talk to, I'm here. Find me on Facebook, Mia Zachary, Miazachary. I'll answer you, I promise. You're not alone. Hold on and help others. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. I have to put my glasses up a little bit. They're falling down there. But thank you so much, Mia, for sharing that. And here's the one thing that I need everybody to really understand. I do have a disclaimer that I share on my shows all the time, whether it's radio or television. If you're in a life-threatening situation and you really are in an extremely dark place, please seek professional help. If you are in therapy, do not use these broadcasts to replace therapy. These broadcasts are to help supplement whatever you are actually receiving now. This is an empowerment show. And I feel it's really important to share that because a lot of times, sometimes, you know, we will be ready to chuck things, you know, and I love and applaud your courage, Mia, for sharing your story. And here's the reason why, because there are so many people that are suffering in silence, and they don't know where to go. They don't know what resources. Google is their best friend, and sometimes Google just doesn't work. Sometimes they need to actually hear a voice saying to them, hey, I've been through this. You can get through it too. I'm still dealing with it, but I'm dealing with it, and I'm #still here, and that's what it's all about. And I just wanted to share that with our audience. And for those of you who are live with us, or if you will have the privilege of seeing the rebroadcast because you've registered, and you know, we really appreciate that, because only the replay will only be given to those who are actually registered for this live broadcast. And I do that because I want to show that your effort is not in vain. And so for those who make that effort, thank you so much. And you're here, and I appreciate you. But Mia, I wanted us to have a little bit of dialogue also. The information that you shared was tremendous. Again, your courage is just, I'm speechless in terms of the courage, because I always share with our audience how you need to go inward and soar and make sure that you keep moving. You know, I know that I'm pretty sure there were some times, and even now, you know, I am happy that we're having this conversation. And the reason why I'm happy that we're having this conversation, because this is a breakthrough moment even for you. You're having multiple breakthrough moments even in the midst of this show, because you are here and you're not in a corner. And I love that, and I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing your breakthrough moments right here, live on air for everyone to see. And that's what this show is all about. No breakthrough series. And you're exemplifying what this series is all about. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And what other advice would you give to someone who may not necessarily see things, you know, they may be watching this and they'll say, well, I get it, you know I need to still show up, but I just don't feel like it right now. What are some strategies, some additional strategies that you've used to make it over that hump? Because sometimes it's just breaking through that one space of, okay, get out of the bed, and then sometimes it's breaking out of that one space of, okay, get out of the house, you know, and then it's that breaking that one space of, okay, get in the car and go somewhere outside of your home, you know. And what I have experienced, because I have experienced depression before, so I know what you're talking about. And that's why I'm so passionate about making sure people get through and break through to their breakthrough. I'm just so passionate about it, and that's why I do those sessions, the breakthrough sessions that I do. So what advice would you have to help people to get through those small situations so they can have those bigger successes? Because each success is still important, whether it's getting out of the bed or getting out of the house.
It Wow. As soon as you said that, I kind of went back in time. I'm not going to lie. There were times where it was like my major accomplishment of the day that I got out of the bed or off the couch. Um, I remember so clearly, mornings where I don't want to say I blacked out because it wasn't like that, but I
Right.
remember standing in front of the clothes closet completely incapable of deciding what I was going to wear that day. And next thing I knew, 20 minutes had gone, you
Mm.
know? So
Yes.
in those moments, I held on to the people who were counting on me. I'm not proud to say that my mother wasn't enough. I'm not proud to say that my brothers were not enough to keep me here.
Mhm.
And to some extent, my son wasn't enough to keep me here because I knew my ex-husband had money and could take care of him.
Right.
But what stopped me from going too far is that I am an award-winning writer, but I still had no idea what words would ever be able to explain to my son why I left him the way I was thinking about leaving him. So I know that's not really the direct answer, but where I'm going with
Okay.
this is even if it is just a little thing like get out of the bed,
Yeah.
get out of the house, get
Yes.
out of the car and drive somewhere. Think about who's counting on you. You're not alone. You're not alone. I believe that it's possible. I don't know why this was just put on my heart, but I believe it's possible. There is somebody out there watching right now, and they are thinking to myself that nobody cares. They're thinking, I don't have my parents. I don't have a husband or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a wife. I don't have kids. Nobody gives a damn whether I stay. You're wrong. You're wrong. We are all connected. Whatever your faith, whether you believe in a higher power or whether you believe in science, I can go either way with you. You are connected, and you don't know what your connection is to the people around you. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but if you can't get out of bed, think about, is your cat depending on you? Do you need to get out of bed and feed the cat, even if it's something that small? The other thing is, I love movies. So a lot of times when I couldn't get out of the house, I just couldn't. I mean, there were days I got dressed, I put on my makeup, I did my hair, I got down to the front door and I sat on the floor and I couldn't go any further. So some days you
Mm.
can't get out of the house, but I invite you to be careful about your influences. Be careful about what you see. Be careful about what you're listening to. It is all too easy to listen to the teary, depressing, black, dark music. It's too easy to watch the murders and the other things on TV. I invite you to go find a comedy. Go find something that's going to make you laugh, even if it's just a little tiny chuckle as opposed to an out loud belly laugh. Find something to hold on to. Find some little thing that brings some light into your life, no matter how small that light is. Because I tell you what, we could be 100, we could be 1,000.
Did we lose Mia?
Oh goodness. Okay. It appears that we lost her for just a moment, but she will be back. And to kind of continue on with what she was saying, just know that you matter. Know that there are people who, I'm going to take my glasses off because this is I personally, this month has been a month. Okay. Um, it's been a month because this was the 1 year anniversary of my father's death, and it's been hard. But I had to show up for my life today, right? And I show up for my life every single day. And that's what she is encouraging everyone to do. I'm going to take the liberty and just stay in that vein. There are people who are dependent on your smile. They're your smile of hope that you're not giving up. There are people that care about you. And if they're smothering you, it's only because they love you. And for people who have suffered in the past and then you're fine, you're not depressed, sometimes people tend to remember that time when you were depressed, and they want to help make sure you never go back there. So just understand that they're trying to handle things the best way that they can. Um, there's so many different ways that I can share and go into that. But I'll speak for myself. With the anniversary of my father's death, that week was really hard. That morning was really hard. And we're going to be talking about the heart of a champion when we have our corner woman, Joan, is going to be coming on in a little bit. But I always talk about the heart of a champion. Sometimes if you follow me on social media, you'll see me post with the hashtag strong heart. And there are dual reasons for that. Part of it is because my dad fought before passing. He had vascular dementia, which impacts your circulatory vascular systems. So when he passed, his heart stopped. They resuscitated him, and then he came back again. He wasn't ready to die, so he kept fighting. He had a strong heart, And so, when it happened and they told me, I felt like my heart stopped, literally, because I'm a daddy's girl, I love my mom. We do amazing things together, but I was a daddy's girl. He taught me business. He taught me writing. He made me do broadcasting before I felt that I was ready. The reason why you see all that you see today was because I thought my dad was really mean, and he was pushing me all the time. Media, all the stuff. But I've come to realize, unfortunately, I was able to tell him before he passed that, I get it. You saw so much in me, and that's why you did what you did. So anyway, when he passed, I felt like my heart had stopped, and I had chest pains for weeks on end. And some of it was stress-related, some of it was not. And then there was a point where, I didn't want to do all the things that I loved. I had a book, and thankfully it's out now. It's been released. It's called Live, Love, Daily. But I was writing that book while I got that call. So every time I go back to revisit that book, it would take me back to that place where I felt like my heart stopped. And writing is my heart, and writing is my life. It's what I do. And so it was just really hard. And so I understand if you're out there and there are things that you used to do that you don't do anymore. That's real. Can I just be real with you? There are places that you used to love to go that you may not go anymore. There are people that you used to be around that maybe you're not around anymore. I want to encourage you to take a baby step and try. And operate in what I call progress over perfection mode. And so for me, that was, even if it was work on, type out a few sentences for that book, whatever it was, and I started feeling better and better each time until finally I just really got in the mode to finish writing the book. And, I dedicated it to him, and I released it on Valentine's Day because actually we were supposed to have a date on Valentine's Day and last year, and he passed on the 8th, so that did not happen. And ever since I've been divorced, if I wasn't dating anyone at the time, he would always be my date. He would always do something sweet for me or whatever. And even though he had vascular dementia, I kind of look off to the, I'm kind of looking off while I'm talking because I'm just remembering, he would always remember who I was. He never forgot. So anyway, I just share all that to say that that morning of the anniversary of his death, I woke up literally face down. It was just tough to just get up and get out and keep moving. But, the heart of a champion is not when they have the belt and they're showing it because they won. It isn't even when they cash their check. The heart of the champion is when they're face down on that mat and they don't know what to do. And they have to make a decision whether to stay down or to get on up. And I was face down, and I decided to flip over and look up from where my help came from, say a prayer, and say, okay, God, it's almost time for me to get this book out. It's the 8th. I know it's the anniversary of my dad's death, but I'm going to do it for him. I'm going to do it for me So my Valentine's Day gift to myself was publishing the book Live Love Daily, which is available on Amazon and Barnes& & Noble websites in addition to toyparker.com. But every time you see that book is representative of a breakthrough. Yeah, it's more than just a book. It is literally a breakthrough because I had hit such a huge writer's block when I was working on that book that I did not think I would ever get to publish it. I had even started on other books. Literally, every time I went to that book, it would take me right back to that place. It was like a trigger. So I'm here to tell you that you can overcome your triggers. I am living proof. My story is unique, but I'm here to share that it can happen. And consider this your breakthrough session with me personally, with a personal story. And you know, I wanted to say thank you to Mia, who is back, and we're going to have a little bit more dialogue, then we're going to bring Joan on. But just understand that you're really, I want to go there. The devil will make you think that you're not alone, that you are alone, and that there is no hope, and there is no help. And that inner dialogue, you really have to get that in order, because that inner dialogue are just thoughts that are repeated. You know, our brain is like an app. You're downloading information. The brain is going to continue to process whatever it is that you're focusing on, and it will make that happen because that's where your brain is focused on. So the more you focus on positivity, the more you focus on the opportunity as opposed to the anxiety. And that's really important, as opposed to the anxiety. So for me, I'll use myself as an example. I focused on the opportunity to have this book done as opposed to the anxiety that I would have every time I try to start working on the book. And so I want you to shift your focus so that you can change your life. I need you to go inward and soar so you can ignite your life. And get the help that you need, of course, your professional support for any type of depression that you may have. But I'm also here to tell you that some people, it isn't clinical depression. It's just grief. You're trying to get over a loved one, you know, whether it's a spouse or whether it's a parent or a child or a cousin, a relative, a friend, best friend. It could be anyone, whoever it is that you love and that you care for, that you were impacted by. But there is a process of grieving, and there is a process of kind of reconciling them back to God and celebrating the life that they've lived. And so I celebrate my dad's life through the things that I do. And I know in my heart that he's smiling even on this broadcast because, you know, he said to me just months before he passed, he looked at me, he grabbed me, and he said, make sure you live out your destiny. And I felt that was God speaking to him because we were eating dinner, not talking about anything about a destiny. I had no idea that he would be gone in a few months. I had no idea when he said that to me. And so the Ignite Your Life movement happened not long actually after that, because it just really was in my spirit as a confirmation to do all that I'm doing. So I just want to say thank you so much, Mia, for sharing your story and for encouraging those who may not know how to climb out of that pit of depression, because it's kind of like a pit because you're trying to climb your way back out so that you can kind of get your bearings into the rest of the world, because you created this world of isolation through your thoughts. And the best thing about it is the things that you've shared, the strategies that you've shared are really phenomenal. So I just wanted to say thank you so much before we move on. Was there anything else you wanted to add? I wanted you to get a chance to finish what you were saying before I come back on.
Yeah, we thank you for sharing, Toy. Gosh, every time we do this, I honestly feel like we are potentially, this is not me being arrogant, this is me stating a hope. Every time we do this, we are potentially saving someone's life. You know, I'm not comfortable sitting here sharing these truths with perfect strangers. I'm not comfortable telling you where I'm at and where I've been. But the reason I'm doing that is because every time I do it, every time I'm authentic, every time I come from a place of heart and a place of service, someone else opens up. And I figure as long as we keep having these conversations, as long as we keep being open and honest and transparent and vulnerable, but also enthusiastic and positive, that maybe we're given permission because somebody's waiting for permission, and we're giving encouragement to other people to open up and say, hey, you know what, that's me too, I need help. So thank you so much for thank you so much for this platform.
Oh, you're most welcome. You are definitely most welcome. And what we'll do now, for those who are still with us, thank you so much. We had a few technical difficulties, but guess what? God is in control as far as I'm concerned. So no worries there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring on our corner woman. Next time I'll have some theme music going and all that good stuff, but we're just going to go ahead and bring her on. She is, I'm going to do my announcer voice, this woman is the most amazing.
Silly.
Oh, I love to cut up. I love to cut up. The phenomenal Joan Corner Woman Thompson.
And we're going to put Wilson at the end, right?
You see me? I got it in. I said, Wilson.
Okay. You sound like the announcer. Let's get ready to rumble. Well, you know, even before I start, I just want to really just tell you and Mia that, you know, that was a champion's effort by the two of you. You know, oftentimes, you know, people will know me by my brand of boxing, and, you know, to really understand that, you know, don't count me out, I'm just getting started, you know, and that's really what the two of you said today. Mia, I mean, I have no words for you really being that authentic. Toy, I'm getting ready to come down your street, Toy, so just sit tight. But Mia, it's just, you know, people need that, you know, because so many times, and our pastor was talking about it. Oh, oops, if you didn't want to talk about God, you're probably on the wrong broadcast. But
I love it.
He said on Sunday, he said that people, you know, it's so unfortunate that when you talk about depression, you know, in an open setting, people will embrace it. But when you get around faith-believing people, they're like, what? You need to get over that. And, you know, I really want to just, you know, applaud you for standing up and saying, you know what? Right now, today, in this moment, at 7, at 8 something that you said, you know, I'm having a moment. You know, I'm not even going to take my glasses off and start crying today, right? But I might. But Mia, I mean, those conversations are so needed. And, you know, you're an award-winning writer. So use your words to continue to tell people that it's okay to hurt, but it's also okay to get help. And I just wanted to applaud you, because some people won't say what they're really going through. And so they find themselves getting up off that mat over and over and over again, because they keep getting knocked down because they won't get the needed help. And, you know, help doesn't mean you're going to be better tomorrow. I'm going to be better. You know, it takes time. And I just really wanted to, just say to you that, you know, not even a boss move, that was a champion move right there, for real. That's number one.
I agree.
So, Toy, you know, I never forget the day that you and I spoke when your dad died. And, you know, so this month really resonates with me well, because, you know, that was a moment in your life where you were open to share that moment with me. And so many times, you know, people are on social media, and we think that social media replaces the phone call. It replaces the snail mail. You know, I love getting cards in the
Me
mail.
too.
You know, oh my goodness, this was for my
Love
son,
it.
but I love getting a card.
Yeah.
Social media does not replace that human touch. So when I was able to give you a call toy, I was not interested in the text messaging, and that might be what most people need and what they want. But I mean, let's be real about this thing. You know, I don't want to have to go through it to say I know how you feel.
Right.
Because, see, when you talk about the heart of a champion, you
Mm-hmm.
already know that we're all in it for the same thing. We want to win, but there's a difference between a winner and a champion. There
That's
really
true.
is.
Yeah.
So, what the two of you did tonight was a champion move. But you've gone, in order to be a champion, you've got to get enough wins underneath your belt to even be considered to fight
Mhm.
for a championship.
That's
So,
right.
every day I know that the two of you are fighting, and I'm fighting my own things. Just because it's the corner woman, it doesn't eliminate the thing that I'm trying to do every single day is to fight for something. So I know that wasn't what I came on here to talk about, but that's what I
All
want to
right.
talk about, you know,
That's all right.
because
We can
that's
talk about
real. This is
it. That's
real.
right.
People need help.
Yeah. No, I love that. I appreciate that. And the reason why I appreciate that so much, Joan, because you were there, and that's real and that's authentic, and you have no idea. It helped to push me because I needed that push at that time to help continue to move on, to help. I ended up being over his. I not only did I officiate, like in terms of doing all the planning, everything. And then I ended up speaking. It was the greatest, that to me is the greatest speech of my life because I ended up speaking at his eulogy. I ended up doing that. And that was, I didn't even know I had the strength to do that. I didn't, but God did. And, it was kind of fitting being that he was the one who taught me public speaking before I was officially taught public speaking. And then I would end up doing that. So I just want to say thank you so much for being there for me. And in this Heart of a Champion segment, you know, what things did you have to go through to that really helped to bring you to a place to create the Dream Champions? I love your movement. I support you. You see me all the time clicking like. But that's just me because I love you and I'm sincere from day one. When I when I met you online and even before, I believe I can tell that you have the heart of a champion. You are living what you're doing, and a lot of people aren't that way. And so, what stages got you? Like, what rounds got you to that place in the ring?
Well, oftentimes we talk about things that we've gone through, and because social media, we take such a relaxed seat in terms of really, you're on social media for one of two things: to socialize and get away from whatever it is that you're doing for that moment or for that hour or more hours, or you're really looking to sell. So there's some people like, well, if you're on social media all day, you need to be making a profit. But you have to understand that some people don't have any other outlet where they have somebody to talk to.
That's
And so this is really, it can be used as therapy for some, and then for some, I like what Mia said, you need to be able to control your influences. Mia, that was the biggest thing that I heard that came out of today for me that really resonated with me was to control your influences. So, when I think about that, I think about how did I get to be the corner woman per se. So here it is 3 years ago, and I'm sitting right here in the same office, but I'm sitting here with bandages all around my head because 2 weeks prior to then, I fell and I had a terrible accident here in my home, and I ended up cracking my skull from here down to here. And I mean, it was probably one of the most it was a gory scene. You know, it was really bad, and I had probably the worst, you know, prognosis leaving the, you know, they sent me from one hospital to shock trauma, and then they're sending me home saying, well, we don't know what caused it. And I'm like, well, wait, don't send me home if you don't know what caused it. Can it happen again?
Right.
And so, you know, they said, well, we don't know. We don't know what caused it. We don't know whether it's going to happen again. But you have a terrible brain injury, and life as you know it will never be the same. Now, I don't know about you and Mia, but I'm going to need my brain, right?
Hello. Yes.
You know, just like, wait.
Okay.
You know,
Not the Wizard of Oz, not Scarecrow.
Time out.
Flag on the play.
You know, I'm throwing in the towel on this one, right?
Right.
So, you know, I left the hospital, and, you know, and I've always been able to process very quickly, you know, and my, at the time, six-figure job required that I use my brain at a level that other people just, you know, I process a lot of information very quickly. So here I am leaving the hospital, not understanding what's going to happen. And then I decided that I needed to get in my own corner so that I could win. Because what appeared to be a knockout was simply going to be a knockdown. Because let me rewind, a week prior to them sending me home, not only had I fallen and cracked my skull open, but the entire platform on my upstairs in maybe a 3-foot diameter was covered with blood, and I was bleeding out. And I had taken a sleeping pill, and the sleeping pill didn't work. So for those of you that don't believe in God, this is a good moment for you to believe that there is somebody and there is something that's stronger and bigger and better than you that wants you to have a heart of a champion so that you can get up. You can tell people that don't wrap it up and put a nice bow on depression. Let's deal with this thing. Let's figure out how we can link our minds and our hearts together to be able to help one another. And, you know, the fact that I was able to get up in a week earlier than that, Gary Coleman didn't make it from the same type of fall, the same type of we don't know what happened. And, you know, I was very lucid, you know, after I fell and I was talking, and then, you know, everything started spiraling out of control. So when you think about the corner woman and people like, oh, we don't know what a corner woman is, you know, it just has such a negative connotation. So
it really doesn't.
You didn't even know what a Nike was, but you wore it.
Right. Oh, and first of all, for those that think that it's negative, oh my goodness, it's so not. The corner woman. Okay, let me just for one moment. For those who do not understand, in a boxing ring, there's a man usually, depending on whether it's a male or woman, but there's a man that's in the corner, and he's down there. He is telling that boxer, you know, stay in there. He's giving him encouragement. He's pushing him. He's in that corner the whole time. He doesn't move. He does not get to go to the bathroom. He does not get to leave. He stays on post in that corner, trying to help make sure that champion gets the win in the ring. Okay? Corner woman, Joan, corner woman Wilson, okay? I'm putting the camera back on her. Okay? This woman is a true corner woman because she stays on post 24/7, literally. She's always there as a friend, in business. She is there. And that's the heart of a champion. She is that person. And I just wanted to take time out. I had to pause for the cause, do a station identification break, and help clear up some things for those who may think negatively of the connotation of a corner woman. No, ma'am, and I will not allow it, at least not on this broadcast.
What do you say? Not on my watch, right?
That's right.
Okay, so here's what I want to share with what you were just talking about. When you think about the corner woman or the corner man in so many words, it's really understanding that it's exactly what you said. Win, lose, or draw, when you come back to the corner, a good corner person's going to tell you, they're not going to say, hey, loser. No, we're going to breathe right back into you. What the original intent was you to go out there and to be a champion. So, when you ever see Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when he
Yes.
comes back to the corner, what does the corner man say? Hey, champ, you got to hold yourself up. You got to go in and you got to win. And see, that's what it is. That's what's missing is that, it's like, well, let me get mine first
Mhm.
and then I'll help you. But what you don't realize is that if you can do it by yourself, then it's about you. But when your vision is so big and so huge, you've got to get enough people around you that's willing to take part in what you're doing and take pieces of it and implement it for you. And see, that's where championship really starts because that means what you're doing is really to be able to impact others. And that means that you're doing something for God. So those are the things that really come when you're thinking about being a champion, getting up off that rope. Because, see, so many people don't really see the parallel in boxing. But I love boxing. I love everything about it. I'm not, advocating violence. I love the parallel as it pertains to business. Number one, so many times people are stopping short of getting that win, getting that business partner, getting up out of bed. You never know who you're going to be able to impact that day. And so that means that even after the time that they go to the gym over and over, all of us are practicing for something. All of us are practicing and getting ready for our title bout for something. It's going to be Joan Wilson, champion of what? Mia Zachary, champion of what? Toy Parker, champion of what? What are you willing to be a champion of? What are you willing to fight for so that you can really create the life that you want for yourself? To also, me, I know you have a son, to lead for your son. What is that? What is that thing that you're willing to keep getting up over and over for so that you can really win? But the most important thing that I really like about boxing is that their mental conditioning. I mean, number one, do you realize they're always getting hit in a forward motion? Even when they're in the seat getting their break, their mind is always going forward because they know that the name of the game is you get hit. But you know that when it's that 12th round and there it's only 2 to 3 seconds, somebody's going toe to toe with their dream so that they can win. And that's really what the heart of a champion is all about because boxers are the most well-conditioned athletes of all the sports. And it's not because of their stamina, it's not because of their endurance, it's because of their mental conditioning. And that's really what has to happen for you to have that characteristic trait of having a heart of a champion. So, Toy, what else you want to talk about?
Well, you know what? Toy is slightly frozen right now. So
Okay,
hopefully you can hear me. She's
I
texting me just to
can.
let me know that she's having a little bit of a minor technical difficulty. But Joan, if I could, I want to take this moment. Now, you and I were introduced probably about a year ago now by some mutual friends. And, I thought you were cool when I met you. I thought you were a nice lady. I did not know. I did not know who you truly are. I've got tears in my eyes right now. Because for you to be sitting here so beautiful, so enthusiastic, so giving after what you went through, that is amazing. You are amazing. Joan
Thank
Wilson, you are a champion.
thank you,
You
Mia.
are absolutely a champion. I mean, my gosh, I the for those of you watching, I'm kind of a geek in a lot of ways. I'm really fascinated by how the mind works, how the brain works, and so Joan didn't go into a lot of detail, but I've done enough research to know how bad her injury was, and I am just so impressed, so
Well,
impressed,
you know
and
what,
that
Mia?
is more than just the medical the medical champions who were in Joan's corner. Again, I'm not trying to impose my faith on anybody, but this is about something greater stepping in and going, corner woman, you're not done. We still need you.
Yeah, Mia, I mean, it's really knowing that even when they gave me that prognosis, I came home and I went to work. I said, "Oh, you're going to give me a brain injury? Okay, I'm not going to have a sense of normalcy." So I locked arms with my sons. My youngest son was here for 6 months, and he helped me to walk and talk and take me to all my appointments. And then on the weekends, my oldest son was here. I call him the sergeant. He was here. Like, Mom, don't move, don't do anything. But even behind all of that, people don't know that, I had a whole, I just lost my late husband, a couple years prior to that fall.
Wow.
And I'm just like, what? Not on top of that, And so, when you think about, what they actually said, I said, well, okay, fine. I tell you what I'm going to do. I locked arms also with my doctor. And you better have somebody that's in your corner from a medical position that is willing to allow you to fight for your illness that you've been prognosed with. So I went back to school and I got an MBA on top of that brain injury in 10 months.
Wow.
And I had just finished a master's program a couple years prior to then. And I'm just like, oh, we're going to put this brain to the test. So I'm here. And I mean, really, the brain injury really gave me a lot more clarity, in terms of what I was going to do. So a lot of times people will put me in as a confidence coach. Absolutely, I can talk about that. But what I realized is that it gave me the clarity that I had a gift that I really wasn't using, which was visual content. I've always done graphics, Metro Bus, Metro Rail here in the Washington, D.C. area. I designed their very first internet back in 1999. So the smart trip card that everybody swipes, I was on that design team. Some of my designs are still there. And, I know a picture is worth 1,000 words. So when I wasn't able to articulate because the brain wasn't my mouth was going faster than my brain could actually process, I started using pictures. So some of you know me by me posting and trailing events because I am a visual note taker because I really could not get the words out. So when people would say, well, Joan, you know what, I really just don't know what you're saying. I was like, oh yeah, bam, how about this picture? You know what I'm saying? So that's the story behind visual presentation, in terms of what my skill set is, being able to be the one that created the very first HR Monopoly game in the world. I did that. It now belongs to the company that I was working for because it's their intellectual property. But when I realized that I can start to rise up and be able to help other people to realize and see their dreams by saying, listen, I know that you're having a hard time articulating what you're saying. Let's paint the picture together. Let's let's put it on. Let's put some paint on the canvas, and let's make sure that this is really what you want in your business, and this is really what you want to articulate. Because if not, then we need to step back and realize whether or not this is just a nice thing that you want to do or you really want to get paid and have a business. So that's really the story behind the Business Corner Woman, the Dream Champions, the Profit and Product Lab. All of those things go into me actually no longer wanting people that keep, a lot of my clients come from like the high-end coaching. They're like high-end coaching refugees. They've gone
Right.
to all these high-end coaches. They paid all this money, but what's happening is that they're not getting the how-to. So they're like, oh, I've been coached by this person, coached by that person, but you still need help with your brand. You still don't have any product. You still don't have a signature speech. You don't have a slide deck. You don't have any visual content. So, that's where I get a chance to really get in somebody else's corner and say, listen, let me help you not only not only be a winner, but rise to the level of a champion.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Hey, Toy, you back? Hi.
Yes, I am back. Thank you, ladies, for holding it down for me. I really appreciate it. My screen froze, and there was absolutely nothing I could do. So I said, God, you're in control. You are all. I said it, but I had to live it a few minutes ago because I was not in control of this broadcast, and I still not, because he could do anything at any time. But I just wanted to say thank you so much. And time flies when we're having fun. I would love for you to come back to some of our other broadcasts. We do this once a month, the last Friday of each month. So you, our family, you are welcome to come on the show anytime. Even if I have other people already scheduled, if you want to jump on and join the conversation, jump on.
I'm just going to elbow my way in.
That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Mia, what was one of your biggest take from Joan, what Joan shared tonight? Oh, the devil's
Now, Nia's screen locked up.
That's okay. She'll be back. That's okay. No worries. No worries. Well, I just want you to know that I appreciate you so much. And what you have, now we're in the after party segment anyway, which is perfect because now we can just talk about fun stuff like children and grandbabies and all that good stuff. So what are some of your favorite moments from February with I've seen your posts of are they your grandbabies?
Those are my grandbabies.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah, I really never understood the love of a grandparent until I got grandbabies. And I'm telling you, they are absolutely the love of my life. And, when I think about what I live and breathe for, it's those two young ladies. I was trying to see if I could show my screen. I'm sure I can. And I just love those babies. Let's see.
Show the babies. Ooh, show the babies.
Okay, let's see. Screen share.
Yes.
There it is.
Oh, yeah, Mia's back with us, too.
I am so sorry. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm here. I'm sorry.
It's okay, honey. We're in the after party. We're at the after show. And we're talking about grandbabies, children, and all that good stuff.
Those are my babies.
I'm going to blame two of our mutual friends, Joan and Toy, because I think the Basement Boys are backing up the studio here.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
They're stealing all my bandwidth.
Oh, no, they're trying to take away the juice. Those grandbabies are beautiful, Joan. Oh, my goodness. What are their names again?
Leah and Mariah.
Oh, beautiful
Leah
name.
and Mariah. So my biggest takeaway for February was really when I got a chance to spend Valentine's Day with my son, his wife, and the granddaughters. There's nothing like it. When I get to go to, on Sunday it's like our family day,
Right.
So it's nothing like my son calling me from church and like, Mom, are you coming? And I'm like, can I get to the parking lot, please? But when you raise your kids and they beat you to church and you see him come in with his little ducklings behind him, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. And so, and then spend time with my youngest son, so that's a real treat to get him. But, it's nothing like it. I just really love being a mom, but I really love being those two young men's mom.
That's fantastic. That is really fantastic. I mean, we have to
Also,
love our children, but it's even better when we actually like them.
yeah, it's so true. That is so true. And
One
I
of the
know,
one of the
I know,
things that I do with my son is, he's a little geeky. He's a little awkward. It's difficult a lot of times for him to make friends. So, we have taken control. We have taken the power back. So I call him a nerd and a dork all the time. And he calls me a stranger and a weirdo and all these other things. But as long as we take possession of those words, nobody else can ever hurt us with that. You go ahead, call me whatever. I'll take it and I'll wear it proudly.
I love it. I love it. I know for me, a lot of you know I'm working on a book called Chronicles of Queen Mom. And my daughter, I had my moment actually while she was out, God will allow, so that you can put things into perspective. She went on a field trip.
Uh-oh. Look like
Uh-oh.
we lost Toy.
Okay, so maybe it's not the Basement Boys. I can't blame them for North Carolina.
No, well, in North Carolina, they had a lot of ice and snow. So
Oh.
that may be what the culprit is there. So Mia, what's your latest writing project?
Well, actually, since you asked, which is kind of cool, um, you probably know me because I had a conversation with you probably about 6 months ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm still trying to find myself. I went back to my heart. Hold on one second. I'm just going to double check. Toy is messaging me. I went back to my heart. And I have been doing ghostwriting. I've been doing freelance editing. Um, Hold on one second. I'm just texting Toy to let her know that we're holding it down for her until she can get back. Um, okay, I'm sorry. Now I'm focused back on you. My heart is in teaching. My heart is in showing other people how to bring the book out of their heart through their head and onto the page. So I've actually just finished my website, which is from mindandmanuscript.com, and that is where you'll find my new book coaching programs. My trademark is to take people from an idea to a first draft in about 48 hours, and so my coaching programs are actually up and visible for the first time in a couple months, so that, it's still the first quarter. And if writing a book is what's been on your heart and you've been putting it off because you don't know how to get started, don't know how to keep going, or don't know how to get it done, I'm your girl. So that's what I've been working on, in addition to a couple of other projects that I want to do this year. But, with my project in mind, Joan, I'm actually going to be doing a book project called #StillHere, and it is for people who are on the other side of their depression. And if I could, I'd like to ask you a follow-up question that I wanted to ask before I kind of got technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
You said that your brain injury gave you clarity. And I wanted to follow up with that because that is such a juxtaposition. That is so, ironic of all things. I have another friend who suffered a brain injury after a car accident. She's still struggling a little bit, but luckily, her business is up and running. And because she does massage therapy, it doesn't require the same level as, say, had she been, a high-powered business executive or something. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I know from my research that depression often follows brain injuries because, the physical element has been so badly damaged that leads to damage to your mind. So I would love to find out from you, how did you get past that? How did you either avoid or work through the depression following your brain injury to get to a place where, unless I'm taking this wrong, I hear you saying you're grateful for this brain injury because it took you on a different path.
It absolutely did. Now, here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that I still don't have fainting spells. I'm not saying that I'm still not struggling with having blackouts. I'm not saying I'm still not, my body's still not going numb. I'm not saying any of that.
Right.
Because I'm still having that, and I'm still struggling with, making sure that, what I'm communicating, what I'm saying, what I'm articulating, it sounds right, but I know that the clarity around what that did for me was that, why am I not doing what I love to do? Why am I not helping people feel, people that they're suffering the same type of brain injury in their businesses, in their life, because they don't know how to get up and how to get moving, so they continue to stay in the, well, they really don't know what's wrong with me, or people really don't know what I do. So, it was just clarity in saying, you know what, I've got to really tap in and hone in on what I do best, because the mouthpiece isn't working right now very good. And
Right.
so, we know most people, they process visual information 68 to 70 times faster than anything else. So I started using what made sense. So in terms of clarity, it made it very clear to me that, either you're either going to use your gifts, or you're going to find yourself struggling to compete for a job, compete for an opportunity. So that's the clarity, and just that I knew that if I didn't take a stance to get in my own corner, I really was not going to make it. And that was, do I have episodes where I feel a little depressed? Absolutely. Not even a little, a lot. Because, I can't explain, going to Johns Hopkins, which is one of the best hospital in the world, in terms,
Yes.
and they're saying, we don't know what's wrong with you. I was like, well, where is the real Dr. House? Where is he?
Right.
Because there's something wrong, because, I'm at least twice a year I'm being rushed to the hospital, and just having an episode just 3 days ago where, I woke up because I felt like I was passing out. Now that's just like, I can't even explain. It's not like you're falling asleep. It feels like you're absolutely going to black out and pass out. And it's like you have the flu 24/7. So Mia, when you were talking about your friend who is a massage therapist, we can't explain it, but it can lead us easily into a depressive state. But it's really the influence is what you said tonight is what I grabbed onto. I've got to be around positive people. I got to be around those two dynamic duos that you mentioned that was stealing the bandwidth,
Yes.
And I mean, it's because if you just tap into them at any point of the day, you just get instant charge. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to go and do everything right now, And that's really what happened, Mia, in terms of me being able to really to try to just keep going. There was a day last week I just felt like I had experienced a brain injury all over again.
Wow.
And I did not get out the bed. I stayed in the bed. I felt like I was really in a depression. I was like, when am I ever going to get over this? I've done the vision that I believe you've given me, God. I'm doing that. Well, why don't you do it without complaining and whining? And I don't say, well, I definitely don't want him to say, well, come up here and tell me in my face. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna stay right here. I'm good. So I hope that answers your question, Mia. But yeah, I mean, I do get in a depressive state, but I then know how to tap into people and things that really, help me to get out of it. And, I have a delay in doing a lot of things too. I'm looking up here on my wall and I'm like, whew, when I get off this call, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, I got 8 things to do before the night is over.
Right.
Yeah.
I still have to drive home to my little boy who's like, Mom, how long are you going to be? It's like, well, it's Miss Toy. It could go for hours.
Jay and Trevor, You know, they rub off on me sometimes. It's
They
not my
do
fault.
on
It's
all
not
of
my
us.
fault. But the good thing is about for this show, even though time flies when we're having fun, it's about 9:25. Not too bad. We're in the after party, which is our relaxed conversation. And with the beautiful part about the relaxed conversation that I love is that sometimes even more breakthroughs and even more blazing amazing conversation actually stems out of it because we're in such a relaxed state that we end up sharing things that we normally wouldn't have shared during the regular part of the broadcast. And that's why I allowed this after party segment because it's not just an after party like, woo, we're going to play music, woo, we're going to dance. It's an after party in that we're celebrating ourselves, we're celebrating our lives so that others can have that little piece to take back with them and know that it's possible. I love the things that both of you have shared tonight. I'm so appreciative. And the one thing that I would love for everyone out there to take away is to understand that life is so precious. We talked a lot about life tonight. We talked a lot about, moving in spite of, because a lot of us are going through a lot of things. Things happen. When life happens, the question is, what are you going to do? Because life is going to keep happening. Life does not stop. It is a continuum. So the question is, what are you going to do? And the key is to keep moving forward, no matter what.
I think the key might be what Joan said earlier. Get off the ropes. Get off the
Yes.
ropes.
You have to stay off the ropes. You have to. You don't have a choice because life is going to continue to go. And that's what the heart of a champion is all about. This episode we're talking about hashtag still here, hashtag heart of a champion. We're here to tell you that
Hashtag no box, no limits.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, hashtag no box, no limits. Thank you, Mia. That's why I love you, girl. And I love you too, Joe.
Don't be putting me second. Just say love you both. I mean, what's going on?
Look, hey, wait, can I correct myself?
Yes, it's your show. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me inbox Mia off of that little response, right?
Well, they're so special to me, seriously, and I really mean that in all seriousness. I really appreciate both of you. Your presence in life is amazing, blazing amazing, and I wouldn't have it any other way. God has placed, it's amazing. God knows what you need when you need it. He knows that word of encouragement exactly at that just right time. His timing is always perfect. So no matter what is going on in your life as we come to a close of the show, please know and understand that His time is always perfect. And everything that you're going through is part of your journey. Appreciate the process because that's a part of the journey. And don't discount what you've been through because that makes you who you are now.
Yep.
And it's going to propel you. Use it as fuel to propel you into your destiny. For No Box, No Limits broadcast here on the Ignite Your Life with Toy Parker Network, I have the lovely Joan Cornerwoman Wilson and the lovely Mia Zachary. And we are saying good night.
Good
Or good
night.
morning.
Or good morning.
Afternoon.
Or good
Depending on
afternoon.
where you are around the world.
That's right.
Good night, everybody.
Until